Welcome back, everyone, to your podcast, our podcast, the Popular Side Podcast. As always, he's Yinka Yusuf.
Hello.
And I am Akin Adeke. It has been a while. It's been 2 weeks since we actually recorded in this format, Yinka.
Yeah.
Actually, it's been 3 weeks. 2 weeks ago, we recorded our interview with the great man himself, Dodo Mayana, Mr. Peter Rufai.
Mayana.
Needless to say, the highlight of our budding podcast careers so far.
By a mile.
By a mile, but
By a mile.
hopefully just the beginning. Hopefully not the zenith.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that. Yinka, how's it going, man? How you doing?
I'm good, bro. You?
I'm good. I saw you in Lagos. Saw you a couple times, which was fun.
Yeah. Actually, we spent a whole day, a full day together.
Yes. So
two full days.
Two full days together.
The interview day and the other event that we had. The hackathon. Yeah.
Speaking of, quick fashion check. So this is my T-shirt from the hackathon. For those who don't know, I have a nonprofit, community-based development partners. We do some work in Nigeria, technology, education, healthcare. So we had a hackathon/demo day in Lagos, showcasing some emerging tech talent in Nigeria. And Yinka was gracious enough to be one of our esteemed judges. He's a man of many talents.
Yep.
Initially, it was all like, I don't know tech, wow. And then this man grabs the mic and is grilling all these kids, and I'm feeling sorry for them.
God, it's all love. I felt bad afterwards for some of them. I was grilling them like I was grilling my staff at work,
No, you should not, anyway. But it's the last time I ever believe anything you tell me, so. No, but it was fun. Thank you for doing it. No, it was really fun.
It was fun. It was fun. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. And there were a lot of talent on display. Yeah. All they needed was, that nudge, that guidance, that, and some when you volley thoughts or ideas with people, new doors open, new ideas open, new terrains open. Yeah. And I'm sure even though some of them, we had one winner and 2 runner-ups, every other person benefited from that particular event. So we should do that every year, by the way.
Yeah. So that's the plan. We're hoping to raise some money. It costs a lot of money. We're hoping to raise some money.
I understand. We should do that every year.
But yeah, we will do it. We will do it every year. I think me and my co-founders all feel that way. So it was a lot of fun. It was a close second as a highlight of my time in Lagos. And this is a good segue to first undisputed #1 time in Lagos. Inka, we did a thing.
Yes, sir.
We interviewed the legend. Little old us did it. So
we did.
Can we talk about that and just bask in the glow of all that for a few minutes?
Yeah. When we started talking about, you coming to Lagos, we should do an in-studio session. Yeah. And you were like, who can we get?
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe we can get Peter Rufai. And you're like, no.
Stop messing with me.
I go like, no, stop messing with me. I said, we might be able to get Dodo Mayana. Let me see what I can do. Yeah. And I remember a couple of weeks after that, then I got back to you and I sent you a message. I said, we got Dodo Mayana.
And I was screaming on text. If it wasn't so late in Lagos, I would have called you. I would have called you right away. Like, what is wrong with this guy? I was screaming.
I'm screaming on text. But yeah, frankly, to be honest, the man is charismatic in goalpost. He's, that presence is there. He hasn't lost it. Even while he sat with us, you could feel that aura, quote and unquote, around him. And the wealth of knowledge that he has, the experience, it was evident. He was there because we started talking before the session started. In fact, I had a funny feeling. I was hoping we recorded that pre-discussion before we started the session itself.
It was awesome
because we were some of the things that we're talking about it was just awesome.
Yeah.
And he's a humble guy, down to earth, you know. I mean, you remember the young boy in the studio that because we didn't tell anybody it was Peter Rufai that was coming. So the young boy in the studio literally almost fell off his chair when Dodo Mayana walked into the studio, you know, because all we said was we're expecting a guest. So the only few people, only you and I, and maybe my brother knew, that we're getting.
Because your brother helped us put it all together. Yeah.
And thanks, Abra, if you're listening. I'm sure he's listening.
Thank you, bro.
Major thumbs up to you. So the young man literally fell off his chair. It was like, and I was like, guys, let's get this thing started. They were all in awe.
They didn't want to start.
They didn't want to start. They didn't want to start. They were like, wanted to take pictures and stuff, which is understandable. But I knew it was gonna be a fantastic session even before we started. Because I mean, he speaks well. He knows how to tell a story. And he was more than happy to let us into his world.
Very true. Very true.
I'm telling you, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah. So my quick reaction, I couldn't sleep the night before. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't sleep much anyway, but the night before I really couldn't sleep. I'm like, number one, Yinkai is gonna kill me if I mess this up. So I'm nervous. I'm like, I can't afford to mess it up. Yinkai went out of his way to make this happen. I have to show up. And I remember you were asking me, because I got to Nigeria the day before. And you were asking me, are you ready? And I was like, no. I'm like, I can't lie to you. I can't tell you I'm ready when I'm not, right? So, because I did some work on the plane, I did some research on the plane, but, I felt like we had to meet the moment, right? I'm like, it's not every day that you get to share 2 hours with someone like that. So, yes, in retrospect, I was ready. I'd been ready for weeks, probably been ready all my life, but to meet the moment, I felt like I had to do even more, So on the plane, I was working on it. You wrote a fantastic introduction, so thank you again. I read it over and over and over. I'm like, not going to change much. I think I changed 3 words, I'm like, this was brilliant, So I'm like, okay, I'm at the hotel. I'm like, I need to find a place to print out, because I'm like, I figured you were going to use your phone. I was right. But I'm like, I'm not going to use my phone. What if my phone dies? So I'm freaking out about this. So I'm like, I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to get, the hotel staff to like print out my questions for me. I'm like, I'll print out 2 copies. Yinka wouldn't use his, but that's his problem. I will use mine, because God forbid, I'm trying to ask this man a question and I forget what I'm about to ask, and I'm going,
you forget what you're about to ask him.
I'm like, let's not do that.
But we anyway. Went off tangent significantly. You realize, because the interview just took a life of itself. It
really did. It really did.
And before you knew it, it was 2 hours, and it needed to be organic. So
yes,
if people might not notice this, but we ended up almost just letting it flow.
Yeah, absolutely. And you and I, we had decided, we had, I think, 20 questions. I think. And
we came up with 20 questions. Yeah,
20 questions. We were going to go Yinka odd, Akin even, something like that, because you started it up, right? So we were going to do that. And then after a while, I'm like, oh, one question is linking to another. But
exactly.
This is why I do this with a very smart man. So I'm like, Yinka and I didn't have to talk. When I saw something was happening, I'm like, okay, I need to take 6 and 8 together and just keep it moving. And that's what we did.
Keep it moving. And we covered everything eventually.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, absolutely.
We did. We covered everything that we thought of covering. It was just like the flow was then different. It had to be organic.
Yeah.
You know, but
what was your
fun.
favorite? What was your favorite part of the 2 hours we spent with Mr. Rufai?
Dodo Mayana Dodo. So it's that, because that story was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Then the Wester of it, was also quite, we knew something was off, but we didn't know what it was. And I didn't want to probe further to say what exactly was the issue. It was a story to tell. It was a story to tell, but he alluded enough for us to know, what was kind of going on. That bit, and also his take on his legacy, was a bit surprising for me, because I thought he would have said, "Oh, I want to remain the, it was going to be sporting in nature."
Yeah, exactly. Greatest goalkeeper that
so I was quite
lived,
surprised when he said, I was quite surprised when he said, my legacy is what I do to the young ones coming up. That was quite interesting. And it's, for us, the cheeky moment for me will be when we had to confess that we did a GOAT 11 and he wasn't on the list. That wasn't fun, but we had to do it. It was only fun.
You know what's funny is, but both of us were struggling with, obviously we think Peter Rufai is a better goalkeeper than Vincent Anyama.
Yeah.
But one man played twice as many times for Nigeria as the other.
Absolutely.
Both played with distinction and excellence. And then one man, sometimes luck, fortune, is also important. One man was fortunate to just, play long enough at several clubs that he left a legacy.
Absolutely.
They both captained, Nigeria, at important times, and they were both like, pretty much they brought stability to, at different times, a very unstable team. So
yeah.
But anyway, so my favorite.
But as if a friend of mine will say, or a friend of ours will say, one of them faced Messi and the other one did not. So.
Oh my gosh! That is true. That is true. I would consider Messi.
Your favorite moment.
Yeah, Messi should consider himself very lucky to not have faced.
Very, very lucky. Not have faced
Mr. Rufai. All right. So my favorite moments. One was when he walked in. I'm not even gonna lie. So for me, I hadn't really envisioned what the moment will be like. So when I'm like, what do I do? Shema Dobaleni, like, what do I do? Do I offer my hand? It was kind of weird, but like you said, it was a very, very gracious man. So everything was just organic. When he complimented my knowledge of Badozaki, I was like,
Badozaki, yes.
So I was like, thank you, sir. That felt good. But I think my absolute favorite moment was, and you set this up perfect, the Lakda Bellumi penalty. I thought, because we hadn't really talked about it, but it was great that you had us take the question together.
Yeah,
I think that really created a moment. So when we do our shorts, I think that should be our first shorts. But okay,
yeah, absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. But anyway, so it was fun. We did that. We locked that up in the archives now, and we'll look to do something bigger. As usual, we will keep our mouth sealed, locked up, until it's cooked and we're about to serve. Then y'all will know what we're cooking. But trust me, we are cooking again.
So I don't know if there's something bigger, but yes, of course, we have to do more. We have to. We're working on a few things, a few more legends.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, some active players as well. Yinka, we've been getting a lot of, shall we call them requests from non-players, just friends of ours who just want to come in and talk. And we got to think about that.
Yeah. Now we can actually we can do that also because
we got to think about
guys,
them.
we have some very interesting friends. If you think the two of us are quote unquote crazy, you've not met some of our friends. You've not met some of our friends. So
This
I'll
is
give you a
very
good
true.
example.
Yeah.
So just today, right? Someone said on our group, and I'll read this verbatim. Yeah. So let me pull this off. So someone said on our group. So today was Roland Garros, which we'll talk
Yeah.
about later on. So one of our friends then said, I'm looking for it.
I
Where
know what
is
you're
it?
about to read. I know what it is.
You know what I'm about to read,
I know.
right?
I know. Go
So
on.
so one of our friends said, can they for once try to respect runner up in tennis tournaments and give them something better than a silver effing trophy? No, a silver effing tray.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Then the other one replied and said, at least they got something. Arsenal did not even get a tray. And I'm like, why are we getting stray bullets all of a sudden?
Arsenal always catching stray bullets.
Always catching stray bullets.
But it is what it is.
It is
It
what
is
it is.
what it is.
So you'll be meeting the rest of the crew, as time goes by. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
All right. So Yinka, there are no major leagues active right now in the world of football. There's a lot of other sports going on. We have the NBA playoffs. We have the WNBA, in full swing. And media darling, podcast darling, Caitlin Clark, not doing so hot. So we got to talk about all that. So we'll include all that in our worthy mentions, which begins right now. So the first thing we're going to talk about, since we've been gone, the European Continental tournaments have had their finals. I think it went conference first, I think. No. Yeah, no. Europa first, then conference, then Champions League.
That's conference and Champions League. Yeah.
So in the Europa, Atalanta Bergamo. This is really hard. Faced Bayer Leverkusen. We were all unless you want us to come here and lie to you, we were all rooting for Leverkusen. They were undefeated. And they were never in this game. They lost by 3-0. All 3 goals scored by proud Nigerian, proud Super Eagle, Ademola Lookman. Yinka, please tell us your thoughts on this performance.
So I was actually sitting on the fence in this game. On the one hand, if Leverkusen had won, it would have been fine because I wanted them to, get that record. But on the other hand, Ademola Lookman, we have some personal ties.
Yes, you do.
My family, we know his dad. The Nations Cup the finals that I watched, his dad gave me the tickets. So he's a family favorite. Yeah. My wife doesn't usually watch games. She watched that Atlanta game from beginning to the end. And I think she was the one that made the guy score 3 goals because she was screaming all over the place when he scored. So I was happy for him. And come on, that game, it was a Lookman show. That was what it was.
Yeah.
It was a Lookman show. He was completely unplayable. Completely unplayable. The first goal, it was a bit opportunistic. He ran in front of the defender and tapped the ball into the net. But the second goal, oh my God. He turned Granit Xhaka inside out, bent the ball into the far corner. I was like, wow, that's it. That's the goal of the game.
Yeah.
This guy, they won, blah, blah, blah. Apparently, the young man was thinking, you know what? You think that's the goal of the game? Hold my Zubu. I'm coming. Right? And he went ahead and that third goal was just perfection.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Perfection. When he got the ball he knew exactly what he was going to do, and he executed it to perfection. The leg over, the left foot strike, super, right? I think Leverkusen got caught up. I told you that if you fly too close to the sun, at a particular point, you will get burnt. And this was the game where they got burnt. Yeah. Atlanta, they different. Like I said, they don't have. Both sides don't have star players, but they're a good team and they know how they want to play. And on the day, Atlanta just had a striker who was on fire, right? And Leverkusen, they didn't have the same. But yeah, Atlanta deserved to win. It was a fantastic game. Yeah.
So a couple things. Each of the 3 European finals had an older coach versus a younger coach.
Yes.
In each case, the older coach won. When I say older, I mean by 14 to 20 years, the difference. The Atalanta coach is much older than the Leverkusen coach. The Olympiacos coach, that's the second game, Olympiacos versus Fiorentina, was much older than the Fiorentina coach. And we'll get to the Champions League final. Obviously, Ancelotti of Madrid is much older than the Dortmund coach. So I don't know if that's something or nothing, but it did happen.
I think it's just a coincidence.
It could be, but
3 for 3. I think it's just a coincidence.
3 for 3 is something.
I think it's just a coincidence.
But for Leverkusen, I thought, I don't know. I think Xabi Alonso got caught in his own head a little bit, right? I'm not going to insult him by saying he was overthinking, but I think he got caught between, do I stick with what got me here? Or do I reevaluate, look at the universe of players I have available to me and play my best possible team? And I feel like, not playing a recognizable number 9 was from the start was probably a mistake. And then it just took them, it's been taking them too long to get into games, but they've been surviving. And then this just one more time, one time too many, I think, and they just couldn't get back into it.
Yeah, I agree. And besides, Lookman's finishing was just too good on the day.
Not much.
It was just too good on the day. He had three half chances and converted the 3. They were not full chances. It was 3 goals out of nothing. You can't beat that.
Yeah,
that's that's the definition of a big game player, right? So in that game, an African scored, Lookman obviously. In the conference game, it was the Moroccan guy. What's his name? El something.
Starts with a G. Yeah. Can't remember. Let me see. Ayoub El Khabi.
Get his name.
Ayoub El Khabi.
Yeah. So he got the goal for
Olympiacos.
So I was hoping that in the Champions League final, maybe Seb Hala would do us a favor.
He didn't get off the bench.
And maybe this is a good segue into the Champions League, the Champions League debrief, kind of.
Yeah,
I thought Seb Hala was going to do us a favor, but he didn't even smell any game time.
He didn't get off the bench.
Which was surprising. And in that game overall, I thought Dortmund were quite naive.
Yeah.
We watched this game together. It was the same day as the hackathon.
In Lagos.
Yeah. In Lagos. So I remember I was saying, Dortmund, better take all these chances.
Yeah.
We kept on saying, Dortmund, you need to take these chances. This Madrid team, right? They will just mess around, and they will win.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what happened. They messed around and they won. Were they the clear better team in that game?
No.
Hell no, they were not. No. But they messed around and they won. The shortest player on the pitch scored a header.
Carvajal.
That's what's a better definition of messing around and winning?
Yeah.
The second goal by Vini, it was a scuffed shot. He mishit the ball, right? And that's why he beat the keeper. And that's how they scored 2 goals. So I'm like, y'all don't know the way this Madrid team are, right? It's like the whole universe is lined up behind them right now.
Absolutely.
On the pitch, off the pitch, everything is falling in line for them. Everything.
Yeah.
You needed to take your chances. Dortmund, you needed to. You played better than Madrid on the day. Yeah. And you still lost. So I think the Dortmund were, they were naive. Yeah, they could have, had that upset, but they didn't. So this is the third time they're getting to the finals. I think it's third.
They won
that
one.
they are missing out.
They won one in, was it 96? They lost one with Klopp to Bayern, and now
Yeah. So the one they won in '96 was the last freaking set.
Matthias Summers,
Matthias Sammer and the rest.
Yeah.
So they won that, right? But I mean, they're a good side, yeah. And they know how they want to play. They know how they want to build up their team. They go to all these small clubs that have star players that people are not willing to take the bet on, and they just invest in that player.
Yeah. They get them early.
They get them early. Haaland, Bellingham went through Dortmund. Sancho, Dortmund, or is back at Dortmund now. And
Aubameyang went through
Aubameyang, Mkhitaryan. So that's what they do.
Yeah.
And I know we'll talk about this later on in future episodes. This is what some clubs are. Some clubs are not waiting to buy the superstar. They are a business. They want to get the potential player, the player that has a high potential, bring him on board, give him the opportunity to develop, and sell him off. That's the business model, right? So Dortmund, for example, that's what we want to do. If we end up winning something, all well and good. Because they know definitely Bayern is the dearest club of the German of the German population, if you get what I mean.
Here's my problem with that, Yinka. Here's my problem. Not the season that just ended, but the season that ended in 2023. Bayern had no business winning the Bundesliga that year. It should have been Dortmund. Dortmund failed on the last day. And for me, here's my problem with the Dortmund style or their business model. When you have Lewandowski in the same team as Aubameyang, right? And then you don't think ahead and say, hey, who's going to replace Aubameyang? So ultimately, he ended up being Haaland or whatever, right? But you look at that team right now, there's no one of that caliber. There's no Aubameyang. There's no Haaland. There's no Lewandowski. You have the guy, Füllkrug.
Füllkrug.
Yeah, he had a good season. He scored goals. He's unathletic, not quick, not fast, not particularly great. So I just feel like when you're catching, it's one thing to be trying to, unseat a great Bayern side. It's quite another to not set your team up to beat a really weak Bayern side. And that's 2 seasons in a row now that they didn't take advantage. The whole Leverkusen thing, it should have been Dortmund. Dortmund has been building presumably for years to get to this point. But let me get to the final real quick. So for me, Karim Adeyemi, again, he's had a great tournament. He's done as much work defensively, I've said this many times, as he has, in attack. I think the kid has a great future, but it did show that he was a kid. Some of the chances he had in that not even the first half, first 20 minutes. I'm not going to call them like great chances. They were kind of maybe not half chances, maybe 3/4 chances, but you give them to, I don't know, even a Rashford is burying that.
Give them to Lookman in the final.
Yeah,
Lookman chances were less. They were of less quality than that.
Yeah, and then the last thing I'll say about that is, all back to Mr. Rufai's interview. All these coaches, who want a certain kind of keeper who can use his feet, blah, blah, blah. When you just put a massive bloke in there who can move, there's a big difference. There's a reason 2 of the best goalkeepers in the world are just massive. You cannot move them. They intimidate you. Courtois was playing after how many months off? Almost a full year off because of the ACL.
Months.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't get past him. I don't care about using your feet. Don't use your feet. If the man stretches his foot, you're not scoring. You know what I mean? And then, of course, you have the guy at Bayern Munich as well that intimidates everyone. So for me, you ask me what kind of goalkeeper I want, give me one of those guys first. and then I can teach them how to use their feet. You know what I mean? So anyway, just thought I would say that.
So interesting point that you raised. So there was an interview post game interview between Courtois and Thierry Henry. I know Henry was former Belgium, on CBS.
Yeah,
was the former Belgium assistant manager to Roberto Martinez.
Yes,
and he and Courtois were discussing. It was like, a lot of people don't know that you're quite good with your feet.
Oh, absolutely.
And Courtois said, well, let people continue with their narratives, right? But he said, if you watch the game, there were several instances where I was pressed, right, by the Dortmund attackers, and I was comfortable enough to do the needful with the football, and I didn't lose it, right? But because I don't ping 50-yard passes, 40-yard passes like some other goalkeepers, it gets lost in people's narrative that they want to say, oh, he's just tall. The guy is a fantastic goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He's as long as a wardrobe. Come on. All the guy just needs to do is this.
Is another one that Chelsea inexplicably let go.
And they brought in, who did they bring in again?
Eduardo Mendy, and then let him go to Saudi.
No, wasn't it Kepa? Was it Kepa before Mendy or Mendy before Kepa?
Kepa for 73 million, and then
for 70
Eduardo
whatever
Mendy.
million.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Madrid saw Kepa in their league. They didn't go after him.
They came after your goalkeeper.
But y'all thought, oh, Kepa is better. Anyway, let's go to Chelsea.
We don't have time for Chelsea today. We have real stuff to talk about.
We might have small time for Chelsea when we get to the coaching session, but we'll get there.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. All right. Are we done with the European final?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay, let's keep this moving swiftly.
Yeah.
There's a civil war brewing in the English Premier League.
Yep.
We've talked about this. This is like the 99th episode that we've talked about this. There's 115 charges.
It's a soap opera. It's a soap opera that just keeps giving. It's amazing. It's like all those. Is it Days of
Our Lives?
Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
Where the grandchildren are the ones running the show now. That's exactly what's going on here. It's a major soap opera. Go ahead, Aki.
So now City have come out and they're crying discrimination. Apparently, the EPL does not like people from the Emirates. They don't like Emiratis. So that's why there's 115 charges.
Let me set this up. Let me set this up so that our listeners, so they understand exactly what's going on. So City launched a legal action against the Premier League, right? Now, remember, they are part of the Premier League.
Yeah.
So, which is a question I will ask you later on being a lawyer. You should explain this stuff to me because it sounds ridiculous to me. Yeah. So they launched a legal action against the Premier League's Associated Party Transactions Rule. Mm-hmm. Now, what does this mean? It says if your related party, which is somebody that is related to you in terms of it might be your owner or related to the owner, or a co-company, a sister company, or a parent entity, whoever, is looking to sponsor you. So, for example, let's say, so I'm wearing a Chelsea jersey today, right? Okay. So let's say Boli wants to sponsor this, and Boli says, I'm going to give you £100 million to put my name of my company on your shirt. Yeah? What the APT rule is saying is, if it was not you, Todd Boli, if it was Akin Adekeye that was going to do the same deal, how much would he have done it? Right? So they get an independent person to do that evaluation, and they say, Todd Boli, you cannot pay more than £20 million for this. Yeah. Let's say that is the fair value that the independent guy assessed that deal to be worth.
Yeah.
That's what they will limit it to. So that's the simple breakdown of the APT rules. Okay? Now, City are seeking damages from the league. 1. And 2, they're seeking for the rule to be abolished because they believe that it is unlawful, it is anti-competitive, and it is restrictive. Now, mind you, this rule did not come into play until Newcastle was taken over by the Saudis. So that means City enjoyed maximum benefits of this rule before the Saudis took over. So this is part of the juicing that City has had. Renaming the stadium Etihad Stadium, the shirt sponsorship, everything, they were all inflated. So City became City based on this rule. And it was because another person came on board. That is where the Premiership said, no, we're facing a City. We can't deal with you guys. We can't let Newcastle just do the same thing. So that rule was, was introduced. Now, the voting system for anything in the Premier League is 2/3, right?
2/3, yeah.
So that is 14 teams out of the 20. City are saying that is, what's the term they called it? Something majority.
Tyranny of the majority.
Tyranny of the majority. And I'm like, really? Yeah, tyranny of the majority. When you call yourself the minority, you're the one that has won 4 of the last 5 Premier League trophies.
And 6 out of 7.
You're claiming that they are, because you're victims of discrimination because you're coming from the Middle East, right? And this is, it's just ridiculous. So I can have so many questions for you, and you will help me answer these questions because you're the legal expert here. So I kind of alluded to my first question earlier on. So the first one is simple: can you sue yourself?
Okay, so that one is very simple. So first, the difference between, say, a typical US league like the NBA, for example, and the Premier League is very simple. So the NBA is a nonprofit, and all 30 teams of the NBA are franchises of the NBA, right? They're not as independent. You know what I mean? They're franchises of the NBA. The Premier League is not quite like that, right? They're not franchises of the Premier League. They're members of the Premier League, if that makes sense, right? So it also explains why the NBA, for example, is so big on what's the term they use. The NFL is the same way, by the way. Parity, right? Parity between all the clubs, blah blah blah. You have a cap, all of that stuff, right? While the Premier League, for example, they'll distribute the money, the TV money, by how you finish in the league, but they're not as obsessed with equality and parity and things like that, right? Like, it's okay for Old Trafford to have a 70 or 73,000 seater stadium, and for Bournemouth to have 11,000. It is 10. What it is, right? So, yes, you can be a part of an association and sue the association. Absolutely.
Okay.
So
fantastic.
that is not. Yeah. Go on.
First question answered. So you can so City can sue. They can sue
the Premier League. Absolutely.
So from a legal standpoint, that's fine. But then from, I don't want to say optic standpoint, but from you opening a Pandora's box standpoint, because if this goes south and City lose this appeal, Nottingham Forest are coming from them. For them. Right? Those boys that were relegated, they're coming from them.
Absolutely.
They will also sue City for damages. Right?
Absolutely. So this is what I would say, right? So number one, you can sue. Yes, you can. Club can sue, not a problem. Maybe not the wisest way to go, but they can. But they would have everything after that first question. City look ridiculous, right? From the way you've explained it, right? They look absolutely ridiculous. Now, I was watching our friends on ESPN the other day, Jules and what's the name of the Italian guy? And Gap. And Gap was like, it would make sense, for example, right? If it was true discrimination. Like, hey, because City are gay or something, they're not allowed to do this and everybody else is doing it. I will use my own example. If Man United had related party transactions and they were okay because the related parties were registered in England. But then City have related party transactions and the Premier League say, oh, this is not okay because they're offshore entities.
Because they're coming from, exactly.
That would be a great case for City to break. Right?
Absolutely agree with you.
But that's not what we have here. What we have here is our sponsor inflating the value of their sponsorship. right?
Absolutely.
Which goes to the heart of competition. It goes against the letter of the law, the spirit of the law, the evil spirit of the law, everything. It's insane. So I'm like, so when I think about this, honestly, as someone who lives in America, this reads like Donald Trump wrote this nonsense for them. That's what it reads like. And as you were reviewing it, I'm like, it sounds like I'm watching a Trump rally. That's what it sounds like. It makes no sense.
Okay, couple of more questions for you.
Go for
it. Bear with me, right? I kind of wrote this down. So let me
go for it.
I think I remember the first one of okay, so the second one. Okay, why now?
Because they didn't do it during the season. So I don't know what was going on. So my guess, just knowing how
they did it actually during the season.
This lawsuit
thing was yeah. So the lawsuit came up in February. Okay. It's just that it's now that they are going into the arbitration that it became public knowledge.
Got it. Understood.
So this tells you why the Premier League chairman said, "I'm not going." Said it. I don't want to have anything to do with y'all as City. Yeah. Y'all have sued me or the entity that I'm in charge of, and you expect me to come and sit down with you and break bread with you.
Yeah.
And hand over the trophy with you.
Yeah.
To you, because this could go as far as City getting expelled from the league.
Yeah. It could be relegation, it could be expulsion. Now, we also have to tell our viewers the Premier League is separate from, the rest of the football pyramid in England. Right?
Yeah.
So you have, what's the rest of the pyramid called? Is it the football league? I think the football league.
Yeah, the football league. Yeah.
The football league is pretty much the EPL, championship to championship league, League One and League Two. Yeah, so all the way to conference, the regional leagues and everything. And then the Premier League separated themselves in 1992, so they're a different entity, right? Yeah. So this is really interesting. And we've talked about it with Leicester as well, right? Like, you're punishing Leicester while they're not a part of the Premier League for something they did while they were a part of the Premier League, right? And now they're coming back to the Premier League. So your argument will be, the last time you were here, you're messed up. And now you're back again, messed up. We can punish you. But if Leicester had not been promoted, the Premier League could not punish them in the Championship.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very, very interesting. So City could go as far as being expelled, right? To being docked all their trophies, right? And like I said earlier on, y'all won 4 of the 5, 6 of the last 7. How can you be a victim of this rule? And what makes me so angry, Akin, is they now said that if this rule is not cancelled, that they will have to pull funding from the community.
So I thought I was crazy. So here, okay. So now City are sponsored by Sovereign, right? The Etihad and whatever, Abu Dhabi.
They owned by the government. Let's just put it that way.
So
they owned by the government,
right? PSG, Qatar, Newcastle, Saudi, right? There's a lot.
Saudi.
We can do an episode on sports washing and what all that means or whatever. But you know what? They chose your club. God bless you. Good for you. Whatever.
Yeah.
But that statement is insane because Manchester United have a ton of money. Okay, they're publicly traded entity. They've now been backed. They were backed by a billionaire family. They've now been backed by another billionaire. They're still publicly traded. Did I mention they were publicly traded? Yeah. Manchester United in the last 30 years have not hurt for money. So to think that if I pull my funds in, I'm sorry, your league is not in Bolivia. What are you talking about? Okay? Let me go down the list of rich clubs in England. Liverpool is owned by a multi-billionaire. Okay? They also own the Boston Red Sox. I'm sorry, you pull your funding and that does what to Liverpool? What are we talking about? Okay, this is how much money Arsenal's owners have. Okay,
they own 7 sports franchises all over the world,
and that's not even the source of their.
That's
not
even their richest venture. Exactly.
Okay, the man is married to a Walton of Walmart fame. You know what I mean? So, I mean, his wife's side's money alone is more than everything he's ever done. Okay, he has a real estate empire, and now he has a sporting empire. I mean, sometimes it's all related. You have stadiums. The stadium in the SoFi Stadium that the Los Angeles Rams playing. He spent $5 billion to build it. You think this man is gonna go cry if you withdraw your money? Like, are you crazy? Aston Villa won't sell anybody players because their owner is filthy rich.
Absolutely.
I'm like, are you serious? Like, is this a joke? So yeah, you don't need sovereign money. I mean, look, we love football, we love sports, okay? But ultimately, all these clubs, they're technically just like small businesses. Let's be real.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
So none of these clubs is like Amazon. None of these clubs is Microsoft. Like, they might have a turnover of 200 million a year. That's a nice small business. But the owners?
I agree.
The owners are filthy rich. So I'm sorry, you withdrawing your support. Another sovereign will come in, another multi-billionaire. There are more billionaires than there are clubs they could buy. Like, stop playing with us. Stop playing with us.
Absolutely.
This is crazy.
Absolutely. It is ridiculous.
This is insane.
Ridiculous. Now, okay. There was another vote that happened.
Yeah. Right? Let's talk about it.
Just bear with me for a second. There was another vote I'm not done with this. I'm coming back. But I'm just saying. So the Aston Villa actually put a proposal to the Premier League to say, can we increase the P&S rules, the loss, whatever?
Yeah,
let's up it up a
105
bit. And it got,
is it 105 to 135? Out. Yeah, or something like that.
Around that region. It got booted out. The other club said no.
And just to be clear, that's how much money you can lose over 3 years. So right now it's 105 million pounds. They wanted to increase it to 135 million because Aston Villa have so much money and they want to put money into the club. They want to back Unai Emery and separate themselves from the idiots who play at the toilet bowl. But go on. That's what that was really about.
And the other reason is, right now there are reports out that Newcastle need to sell to comply with P&L's rules.
Yeah.
Villa need to sell to comply with P&L's rule.
Chelsea need to sell. Chelsea need to sell up to 90 million.
And I think there's one more club. I can't remember the fourth club, right? So what Villa are trying to do is, if that had gone through, they wouldn't need to sell. Now, remember, once you sell, the whole profit hits your book at once.
Yeah.
Right? It gives you room to buy.
Yeah.
So it's not as if it's the end of the world, right? If you sell, that means let's say you sell a player for 50 million. That means in actual fact, that 50 million is a profit for this year only. Yeah. You can go buy a player again, right?
Technically for 200 million. Yeah, for 200 because it's amortized over many years. Yeah.
But I'm saying for you to be within, right? You can then buy a player for 100 million and amortize over 5 years. Yeah. That's 20 million per year. You're fine. So when clubs say we need to sell, it's not the end of the world. Yes, you need to sell to comply with the P&L's rules that y'all ignored ab initio.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't calculate properly. How is that my business? How is that my headache?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So if City is coping up with all this, guys, y'all will be booted out. In fact, City have opened a Pandora's box for themselves, and they're gonna be in deep trouble, right? I will be super shocked if this blows out at the end of the day, right? And for one, let's even say the City. I don't expect City to win this case, but even if they lose,
they can't.
They can't. And when they lose, I don't expect the other clubs to just smile at them and say, "Okay, don't do that again." So I think people are going to come. They're going to come down heavy on them.
So City have one thing going for them. They don't inspire any kind of hatred, any kind of passion. People don't really care about City. Okay.
Fair point.
Man United. I'm not even going to say Man United hate Man City. They don't think about Man City. right? Yeah, it's like it's not Liverpool Everton, it's not Liverpool Man United, it's not Man United Arsenal, it's not Arsenal Spurs.
Akin, let me help you out.
Yeah.
It will become a thing if City continue on this trajectory in the next 10, 15 years.
Maybe.
Not now.
Maybe. They just
Not now.
You know, people find them boring. It's easy to like their players. There's not a lot of hatred towards City, is all I'm saying. You know,
you
know, nouveau riche, whatever you want to call it. You know, people like Pep for the most part. Nobody knows the people running the show in the background. You know, the ex Barcelona people running it. They just, no one really cares. I think that's the one thing they have going for them. Yeah.
But Akin, a lot of people are seeing the writing on the wall. Why do you think Pep said I'm leaving a year from now? Well, do you think they don't see the writing on the wall?
Because it's due a sabbatical. It's due a sabbatical. He spent 4 years at Barca.
Not necessarily, Akin. No, Akin. So let's go to the elephant in the room. I'm going to say this. The only reason why City is doing what they're doing right now is because of the 115 charges down the road.
Yeah.
It is. And in case people have forgotten, I pull this up again. Let me read out the 115. I'm not going to read out the 115, but I'll break it down for you. So, 54 breaches out of the 115 relate to failure to provide accurate and up-to-date financial information from 2009 to 2018. 54 breaches out of the 115. 14 out of the 115 relate to failure to provide accurate financial reports for player and manager compensation from 2009 to 2018. 5 out of the 115 failure to comply with UEFA's regulations, including UEFA clubs licensing and FFP play regulations and FFP regulations. 7 breaches of Premier League profitability and sustainability regulations from 2015 to 2017. Then the balance, which is 35 breaches, relates to failure to cooperate with Premier League investigation from December 2018 till now. These are not minor breaches. This sounds like fraud.
Yeah.
This sounds like fraud. So what they're trying to do is, because most of these things, most of the compensation that they're talking about, it's embedded in these sponsorship deals. Is embedded in one related party paying Mancini, right, for something Mancini is going to do in Etihad, right?
Yeah.
That they could have paid him just $1,000 for. You're paying him like $3 million for it.
Yeah.
And they're like, sorry, how the hell is this fair value? Why are you paying
him under the table? They're paying him under the table.
They're paying him under the table. Yeah. They're paying agents under the table. They're paying players under the table. And the Premier League is saying, give us the evidence. And they're saying, no, we're not giving you. So it seems people don't have an idea what these 115 charges, what they look like. These are serious breaches. They're not minor ones. So City is trying to water this down. Yeah. So if they do this, and in case they win, then down the line, their 115 will just be like, since we already have a ruling that says what y'all are doing to us is illegal, that means probably 90% of this 115 was no longer a breach, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. So I mentioned Trump's case earlier. Let me bring it closer to home.
Yes.
So I had a case at work, right? So where, obviously, my company I work for produces technology and sells technology and services. So a customer comes back and was like, I want my money back, right? They hadn't even been, they're a new customer. They hadn't been fully implemented yet, So the general counsel reaches out to my office and we're like, I need my money back, blah, blah, blah. For us, it was a lot of money, right? There was also a partner that we worked with who also got paid, right? They actually got paid more than we did, for them, it's a one-time payment. For us, it's first year out of 3, So, and I'm talking to, there's a lawyer on my team that is working on this. So he comes to me, he's like, hey, I don't know where to go with this, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at it. I'm like, this sounds to me like a CEO who just told his GC, go get me my money back. and a spineless GC who couldn't push back and say, Oga, this is not that kind of party, right? So, because for me, you know my personality. This is how I am at work as well. Like I tell people at work, don't ask me questions if you don't want me to tell you the answer, because I will tell you, right? And you don't want me to be your general counsel if you're not the type that listens, because I will tell you how I feel, right? So this sounds to me that the higher ups at City told, the lawyers or whomever running City to go file this
thing. Go make this go away.
Because, Yinka, what do you think happens when you file a suit? All of a sudden, there's discovery. So the documents you refuse to give, you are now compelled to give. And then it becomes a matter of public record, right? So the documents that you could have given the Premier League under obligations of confidentiality.
In confidence,
now is admitted into evidence. Now, every journalist that attends any of these public hearings will know the nature of it. They may not see it when the lawyers hold it up, dramatically or whatever.
But they will have an idea of what the content is.
And now they can do, in the US, we call it Freedom of Information Act. I'm sure every Western democracy has something similar. You can now file one of those requests. Like, I want to know you know what I'm saying? So it sounds to me like our friends from the Emirates did not take their time to understand how the Western legal system works. And the people they hired to do, the work of running their big club in England did not have the spine to be like, okay, this is not that kind of party.
This ain't gonna work.
That's how we got here. Because if they were listening, I'm assuming they have competent people. They have competent coaches and players, so I'm assuming they have competent administrators. But it looks like
you need to see the list of lawyers, Aki. It's the top-notch lawyers that they've recruited for this.
And I'm sure the lawyers told them.
These guys are just smirking as a payday.
No, these guys are just saying. I'm sure the lawyers told them. But our friends from the Emirates were like, we don't care. Go, let's bully our way through. Okay, Inka, we've over-rotated on this. Let's move on.
Anyway.
Okay. Let's stay in the EPL. While we've been gone, a couple coaches came in. Do we care? Does it matter? Chelsea have a new coach, apparently.
We already spoke about one of them already. Yeah.
Who is Maresca?
We talked about Slot.
We've talked about Slot for Liverpool. Maresca came in for Chelsea. De Zerbi resigned. He might be going to Man U. Who knows? So you want to talk about Maresca quickly and the Chelsea connection? Is this a change of strategy for Chelsea? Are they going to buy 30 more players?
Where did you get the idea? Who told you De Zerbi is going to Manchester United?
I heard. There were rumors that if Ten Hag is fired, they will look to someone like De Zerbi, is what I heard.
Interesting, right? So, see, when we tell people that Chelsea is looking at Arsenal and try to follow in Arsenal's footsteps, right? Getting young players, getting a young squad, getting a young coach. People say, no, what do you guys feel like? You feel Arsenal is blah, 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 blah. Right? So, look at Maresca. Maresca was a City coach. He was the under-16 coach for City a couple of years back. I think they won the Premier League 2 for Man City. He was a coach then, right? Then he went to Parma in Italy, and he was fired. He didn't do well. He couldn't bring them back to the Serie A, I think. But he was fired, ultimately. Then he came back, and he was an assistant manager to Pep Guardiola at City. Before Leicester took him on board in the Championship. And he successfully brought Leicester back to the EPL.
He spent just one season. Just one season.
One season. And Chelsea goes That's Arteta.
He's older than Arteta,
right?
He's old. He's our age.
Yeah, but you get what I'm trying to say.
I get
it's that they say they want a young coach that can grow with our young team. That's what Chelsea is looking at, right? Is he a fantastic? Is he a sure banker to be a success? I don't know. Yeah, is he a good coach? Of course, yes, he is. Right, but see, there are some things that we need to consider. The connection, the relationship between coach and manager at times, it matters, right? Maresca just looks like a mercenary to me at this point. No connection to Chelsea whatsoever.
Okay.
Nothing, right? So come in, do the job just like Pochettino did. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, is Maresca really better than Pochettino at this point? I don't think so. But we'll see.
So I think the Pochettino thing was not a matter of competence. I think it was personality. I think he just fell out with the people that mattered at Chelsea. I think that's why he's gone. Maresca thing is interesting.
Sorry. What does that mean? Is a matter of personality.
It means you don't get along with everybody you work with. He wasn't getting along with people. It is what it is. He had a few funky press conferences, said a few things. Not quite Antonio Conte level, right? Not quite Mourinho or what's the name of the former Valencia and
Graham?
Valencia and Liverpool coach and Newcastle coach. Spanish.
Benitez.
Yeah, not quite Benitez. Level, but just a couple things, reminding them I'm here and I'm the one making decisions. There was a few of those things. Look, we've talked about the incompetence of the powers that be at Chelsea, so this should not come as a shock to you. There's only one person with credibility here, and it's Pochettino. You can love him or not love him, but he was a remarkable player. He's coached at real clubs, Espanyol, Tottenham, PSG. He's a real coach. He's coached at, he took an unfancy Tottenham to the Champions League final. Yes, he got lucky in the semifinals, blah, 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 no VAR. But still, he's a real coach. He may not be like top 3, but he's not, he's a real coach. And then when you tell him, oh, I'm going to implement this baseball strategy and you're going to love it, what are we doing? What's wrong with my goalkeeper? What was wrong with Eduardo Mendy? Why did they get rid of him at Chelsea? What did that man ever do wrong? When did he say, hey, I need to leave Chelsea right now and move to Saudi Arabia? What was that about? What was wrong with him? That's your Champions League winning goalkeeper, and you get rid of him. Why? To balance the books so you can buy 30 farm players like baseball style? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll see how this goes. Right? The Maresca signing for me, it's either there or there. Yeah. I'll be pleasantly shocked if he does better than Pochettino, frankly. Yeah. The signing that I was quite impressed with was Lopetegui to West Ham.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I think that's a good one for West Ham. Yeah. A lot of people forget that Lopetegui coached Real Madrid, Spanish national team.
Yeah.
He's a solid coach. Yeah. He was doing well at Wolves. What happened was his idea of how to move the club forward. Wolves was like, dude, we don't have any money. Make do with what we have. And Dude said, what am I going to do? I can't work with the crop of players that we have. This is not where I want to be in my career at this point. And Wolves got a coach who was willing to say, is this all you got for me? I'll work with it. For me. And it works for him. That's Gary O'Neill.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good one for West Ham.
Wolves are only interested in signing Portuguese-speaking players. Wolves are a joke of a club. Let's just call it what it is. They're not serious-minded. And more serious clubs will buy their good players.
They're just a business. They're business. Their owners are looking. It's not pastime for their owners. You understand? They are looking to make money from this stuff. Unlike every other person that is saying, I need to wash my money. I need to find somewhere to legitimize stuff, right? I'm gonna see. Let's tell it the way it is. Wolves, do you understand?
Yeah.
That's what Wolves are doing. They just want to make money. And it's the same thing that a Benfica is doing. It's the same thing that Porto is doing. Is the only difference is those guys are the top two teams in the Portuguese league, so they still have something to win. The primary objective of Benfica as a football club is to go into South America, right, or go into their lower leagues in Portugal, go fish out that young star, right, and slap $100 million price tag on him. And they expect fools like Chelsea and Barcelona to come around and pay the 151.
Very harsh.
It's true, Enzo Fernandez.
But so true.
No. But I'm being realistic. Enzo Fernandez, you are Felix. Where do you want me to keep going on?
They didn't watch Enzo Fernandez play. They saw him play at the World Cup. That's it. I'm convinced there's no scouting at Chelsea. Yinka, don't play with me. There's no scouting happening at Chelsea. All right? They watch this man. They'd never seen him before. They'd never seen him before. Okay? The Chelsea fans I know were trying to convince me they watch Benfica. I'm like, you don't watch Benfica. I don't watch Benfica. And I watch twice as much ball as you do. Stop playing with me. I'm like, no. They watch this man setting the table nicely for, Messi at the World Cup. And they're like, I want
Messi making him look good.
I know.
Messi making everybody look good. And they were like, wow, we have the boisterous defensive midfielder. And I'm like, who? Enzo?
I'm like, anyway. Did he tackle 5 times at the World Cup and I missed it? What are we doing?
So, guys, don't get me wrong. Enzo is a good player. He's not just 105 million.
He's also not a defensive midfielder. He's not a strictly defensive midfielder. He's definitely not an attacking midfielder. He's an in-betweener. In-betweeners don't go for 59 million thousand. Stop it. It's crazy. Oh my god.
We also Declan Rice, and we're saying Arsenal probably, shafted West Ham, that we should have paid more than 105. That's what 105 gets you.
Exactly. 105 should change your club.
Exactly.
It should change your club.
Not Enzo. But who are we? If we talk too much, they'll say we're
not Enzo. Certainly not Caicedo.
Grumpy Arsenal fans.
I know.
That's what they call us.
Okay. All right. Maresca, we wish him well. So for the record, while you were speaking, I thought I'll look up everything you're saying. At Parma, our man lasted 14 games.
You see?
And at Leicester, it was there all season, 53 games. Impressive record at Leicester, 36 wins, 4 draws, 13 losses, plus 53 goals difference, which is which is more than some of our friends and Man U can say for themselves.
Leicester kept their team They kept their team. He would have been fired if he didn't get promoted.
Yeah.
So let's manage expectations properly. Yeah. But good luck to him, like you said.
We have to talk about another manager that got his team promoted a year ago this time. One of my favorites, one of your favorites, Vincent Kompany. Both as a player and frankly as a manager. I love him. Now the rumors turned out to be true. Vincent Kompany, a black Belgian manager with Congolese origin, is now the manager of one of the absolute biggest clubs in the world, Bayern Munich.
Yep.
This comes on the heels of Vincent Kompany
getting relegated
with Burnley. I never thought I'd see the day. Yinka. We had an episode where we talked about the dearth of, non-white managers in top European teams. Yinka, if this man had been white, I think there would have been some, that's over promotion. Right?
Yep.
I think if this had been, who is the equivalent? John Terry? I think if this had been John Terry, this would have been the equivalent of John Terry 5 years ago, because Terry's older than Vincent, I think. Or even John Terry now, you know. So if this was John Terry getting the job at, let's say, Bayern Munich or PSG or even a Valencia, to be honest, I don't think we would go away quietly and saying, this is fine. I think we would push back. So I want to be intellectually honest and say, as I love this guy, I want him to do well. This is good for black managers. But are we saying that if it was John Terry?
Okay. So there are multiple layers to this. So let's unpeel. Okay. Yeah. So Vincent Kompany took Burnley from the Championship to the Premier League. And he almost kept the same team, kept the same style of play, but unfortunately they went back. Yeah. Also, Vincent Kompany wasn't Bayern Munich's first option.
It was their 7th option that we know about.
You told me this. Yes. I didn't know. You actually read. You went through the list and you told me all the people. So don't make it seem as if it was Vincent Kompany and every other person. No. Vincent Kompany was a fallback option for Bayern Munich. Yeah. And what Bayern decided to just look at when it came to Vincent to say, is he a good coach? Does he have good character? Right? Our team is evolving. We have younger players. Yeah. Muller and Kane are the old ones.
Yeah.
The Bayern midfield is now Pavlovic and Musiala. These are kids, frankly. So maybe they're thinking, and once again I say this, people think I'm being whatever. Everybody's looking at us now and be like, we love what Arteta is doing. Can we find out a mini Arteta here? That's what's going on right now. Right? And frankly, he has some pedigree. It's not as if he has not coached anybody before.
Yeah.
So it's almost the same thing as Maresca. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Maresca and Vincent Kompany have very, very, very similar, pedigree. Just that one is black, one is white. Simple. Right? So, yeah, I agree with you. If it had been a white guy out of the blues that took that Bayern Munich job, I'll look at it one way. But by the time I look at what's going on in the coaching landscape in general, Aki, I'm like, maybe if Maresca can get a shot, why not Vincent Kompany then? Why not Kompany?
Yeah.
Because Bayern could have gone for Lopetegui, for example. Yeah. They could have.
That would have been a solid choice.
They could have gone for, exactly. That would have been the kind of person that you'll expect Bayern to go for.
Yeah.
But it's like people are looking at, you know what? Let's look for the next big thing. When Pep took over Bayern, when he took over Barca, or Barca, right?
Yeah.
What pedigree did Pep have?
He had coached Barca B.
That's all.
That's it.
And all of a sudden, he's arguably the best coach that ever lived.
Very true.
You see where I'm going to with this?
Yeah, Xavi had coached Barca B and in Qatar.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then
that's Xabi Alonso, right?
Yeah, Xabi Hernandez. And then he comes, he wins the La Liga in his first season.
The La Liga, absolutely. So that's what Bayern is looking at. Yeah, and don't let it get lost on us that, like I said, Kompany was their 7th option.
It was. Should we list? Should we try and list the top 6?
You go ahead. You gave me the list. I didn't. When he told me it was the 7th, I was like, no, it's not possible.
Let me see if I can remember this.
You went through, and I'm like,
yeah,
whoa.
So their number 1 choice was Xabi Alonso of Leverkusen.
Yes.
He said, I'm staying. Yes. He also said no to Liverpool. All right. So he stayed. They tried, I forget the name of the manager of Stuttgart. I forget the name. Who is, I think, isn't it like Uli Onez's like nephew or something? Yeah. He also said no to them. Okay. That's number 2. They came back they went to Ralph Ragnick, of all people, who is currently...
He said yes first, then he said no.
And then it was like, it will be unfair. I'm with Austria. I hope we go deep in the Euros. This means I won't have time to set up my team, blah, 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 blah. I want to be fair. Love you guys, but no. Okay, that's number 3. Right after Ragnick, they came back to Mr. Tuchel. And Tuchel thought about it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make them beg. And then after he made them beg, he's like, nah, I don't think so. And then number 5, they went to De Zerbi. Okay. And then quickly discovered, we can't trust this guy. Nah, he doesn't feel like... Nah. I don't think he said no. I think they found out he's not the one. And then the last one, number 6, was... is his name Robert? Glasner. I don't know. Glasner. What's his first name?
Oliver Glasner. Crystal Palace.
Robert. I was thinking Robert Glasper, the R&B singer. My bad. All right. So Glasner, who from Crystal Palace, who had maybe half a season with Crystal Palace, but showed a lot of promise. Like, he did things that the old man didn't do. He did things that Vieira didn't do. Vieira didn't beat people. Credible teams 4-0, 3-0, 5-0. So this guy could have something, and he's young as well. It fits that mode that you were talking about.
So that means he was their 8th option then, because you have not talked about... I just counted
6 people. So
the backer coach, the new backer coach.
Oh, my bad. Nagelsmann. No. Nagelsmann is national team. Hansi Flick. That's true. Yeah. You're right. They went to Flick. They didn't go to Nagelsmann, but they went there. That's true. He's number 8.
So is the number 8th option. You see how ridiculous this is?
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
So, but I wish him all the best. Right. I want him to succeed.
We need him to succeed. There's one more link
We need him to succeed.
There's one more link. The Olympics are coming up in July in Paris. Henry, as we talked about before, Henry's the Olympic team coach for France. Henry's very interested in coaching. I think if company does well and Henry wins the gold or does really well, I think something will open up for him again. He had the thing with Monaco. He coached it at MLS level with Montreal during COVID. That was tough. They were playing in Tampa. While, instead of Montreal, his daughter lives in London, all of that stuff. So I hope he gets an opportunity, hopefully to stay in London or get another big club or whatever. So, all right. I think we've done this one to death. So let's move on. Inka Yusuf.
Let's proceed. Yes, sir.
What are the things, if someone came to you today and said, what is one thing Akin does not give a single damn about in this world?
England national
team. Thank
you
very much. You are my friend indeed. I don't care what happens to them. I've never rooted for them. I would never root for them. You take Saka out of it. What did I say today in our group? I'm hoping for broken hemis and diarrhea for all of them. I do not care about this team at all, but we must talk about them because apparently I don't watch internationals that don't make any sense. The Euro start on Friday with Germany playing Scotland, I believe. Germany are hosting. I think Germany might win this thing, by the way, but we'll talk about that. Euro start on Friday. By the way, we're recording on Sunday, the 9th of June. So the Euro start on the 14th. And England is playing, they were playing their last, I think it's their last friendly. They played Iceland. They lost by a goal. Bukayo Saka, who is coming off of an injury, as you know, came in the 65th minute, apparently. I read all this. I didn't watch it. And apparently, you did. Okay. Apparently, at least 6 dailies, 6 big dailies, and outlets in England put his face on their evening news or the headlines or whatever as the face of failure. Okay. Because England lost to Iceland. But the man played 25 minutes. The man did not start the game. And then, Yinka, you cast your mind back to when they beat up on Iran 6-2 at the World Cup. And He scored 2 goals, one of them like a absolute banger. And they didn't put his face on there. They put Grealish's face on there. Grealish didn't even make the team this time around. So I don't want to talk about this that much, but this is a thing, right? Like, I'm not crazy, right? This is a thing, right?
It is a thing. It is definitely a thing. And they know what they're doing. Yeah? They do. Yeah? And it's to rile up, right? I don't want to make it sound racist but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's intentional. It's not a coincidence all of them have the same person, the same picture, and it's even pictures in a not too nice position.
Yeah.
There was one where it was flat on his stomach and
on the turf.
on the pitch, and I'm looking at, and this is not the gossip, like this is BBC. Not Daily
Mail, not the Daily Mail.
Daily Mail and the rest of them. Not Piers Morgan and his people. This is BBC. And I'm like, come on, y'all know what you're doing. Right? Cole Palmer started that game. Right? He messed up Akin. It was a disaster. Phil Foden, best player in the EPL. He was a disaster in that game. Both of them played horribly. Maino had a decent game. I
like that kid. I love that kid, actually.
You could have seen the narrative against Maino.
Wow.
Right? Like if it was the one that caused the whole debacle.
Wow. Really? Isn't he 18?
Yeah.
They should be supporting this kid.
So
the kid has a great future.
See.
Wow.
They know what they're doing.
Wow.
They know what they're doing. Yeah. And all I would say, I think it's high time that our own people also recognize the fact that maybe the grass is not greener on the other side. I know Iwobi got some flack, but Iwobi's playing for the Super Eagles and everybody loves him and stuff, right? I don't like this kind of treatment.
Yeah.
The problem with Nigerians is if you don't play well, we will call you out.
Yeah.
Yeah? And we might go extreme. But we don't now leave somebody that played well.
Nah.
Rather, we don't look at the people that didn't play well and say, we are not talking to you. Is this... No. We don't have an agenda. To be fair, Iwobi didn't have a decent tournament, but it wasn't his fault.
No.
But he didn't play well. We all agreed. It was the coach's fault. But the game he played yesterday or the day before Nigeria played, he played well.
I thought it was fantastic.
He played very well. Absolutely.
We were chatting, and I'm like, George Finidi is doing something interesting with the midfield. That was the first thing I said. I'm like,
exactly.
I don't know if it's going to work, but it's interesting. All the midfielders are pushing up, including the nominal holding midfielder, the captain,
Exactly.
And I'm like, I think I like this. We're not conceding anything to South Africa. Now, Nacho playing was a problem.
Was a problem. I don't know Achu playing up front was a problem.
That was
also.
a problem. But I'm like, maybe Boniface should have started, all of that. But I'm like, this midfield thing, I think I like.
So I feel the kind of way about this. It's intentional. It needs to stop, right? But are they going to stop? I don't think so.
All right.
I don't think so. So I think the players should just live with it at this point and, do what they have to do. Okay?
So I'm going to say something. Yinka, you heard me say a version of this at the hackathon, #hackathon, a week ago. I think it's time for Africans, which we both are, to themselves change the narrative. It's taking me, however old I am now to get there. But even I have changed the way I talk about Nigeria. Now when I talk about Nigeria, it's not about all the things that are bad. Just because I'm older, I'm better traveled. I've been to many places, I've seen many things. Now I talk about the opportunity in Africa. That's what I keep talking about. And I said it at a hackathon. I'm like, now when I see like these masses of people in Lagos, the younger me will be like, oh, this is so sad. The me of today is like, that's opportunity. That's a potential customer.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with football, Yinka? The future Sakas need to stop playing for England. Guys, stop this stuff. Play for Nigeria. The future William Salibas play for Cameroon. Okay? Whatever you think you're getting out of England and France and all of them. Okay? I'm sorry, that's not where it's at. Okay? Look, right? Africa is the future. Not the future 100 years from now. It's like the very, very, very near future. And it's not just in football, economically. This is where the power is shifting to.
I agree. I totally agree.
There's a saying here, when there's a metaphor for hockey where you say you skate to where the puck is going to. Yeah. You understand where it is and then you get there. So I hope future Sakas, future Salibas don't play for England or France. They don't need more riches. Play for your African countries. Let's move on, Inga.
And I think what they're doing, quick one, is they're actually also looking at it from a perspective of weakening opponents by just capping players.
Yeah.
And just make sure they can play, right, for the nation, country of origin, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So Nketiah is capped, he's not gonna play any game let me say he's not gonna. I will struggle to see Nketiah go to any big tournament for England. Fikayo Tomori is going through the same issue. Tammy Abraham is going through the same issue.
Fikayo Tomori is the best defender England has. I don't understand why he doesn't play.
If these guys were playing for Nigeria or Ghana, they will be international, full-fledged international.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
First on the lineup, right? So they should think about this stuff. They really should, right?
So
anyway,
I'm gonna say,
like you said,
sorry, I said move on, but I gotta say, when you brought up Nketiah, I gotta say something. The kid that changed from Spain to Ghana, what's his name again? Plays for Atleti.
Williams.
Yeah, Williams.
Inaki
Williams is like 1,800 million times the player that Nketiah is.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm like, he's gonna play for Ghana. But you think you're going to play for England? You're not a good player. I mean, Nketiah plays for my club, so I'm always going to back him. But he is not. He's barely a football player. I'm sorry. So I'm like, what are you doing? Because if he went to Ghana today, Inaki Williams would start ahead of him.
Yep.
And it won't even. Or
they might move Inaki to the wing just to accommodate him down the middle.
Yeah. So that Nketiah can not score for Ghana. What's he gonna do? So I'm like,
no, but I hear you completely. I think it's time they really think about their options, right? It's not everybody that will be a Saka, and even though Saka, even despite the fact that Saka is arguably one of the first people on the score sheet, on the team sheet, see the nonsense that they're still packing at his doorstep.
Because if Saka had played for Nigeria, it would be like Iwobi times 10 in terms of popularity in Africa. People love him. Yeah, some people talk some stuff about him, but that's what we do. Ashley Plumtree, the Super Falcons, the quote-unquote white girl that plays for Nigeria, even though her grandfather is Nigerian. I saw an interview she did before the World Cup. And she's like, look, Nigerians will tell you about yourself. This is what they do. You know what I mean? It's like, they will tell you about yourself.
There's no hate.
They will tell you.
They will.
Yeah.
If you don't play well, they will tell you, auntie.
And she was like, they don't discriminate. Man, woman, the support is the same. The male supporters want Super Falcons, jerseys and autographs just as much as they want the Super Eagles ones, But anyway.
Exactly. Anyway.
Okay. So we talked about the Euros. Let's not do a full preview. Let's just say, who do you think is going to win? Or who do you think is going to be in the final?
This is a tough one. I hear what you say about Germany, and I kind of once Germany is hosting anything, right? I'm worried.
Yeah.
Let me just say it.
Yeah.
So I can knock off Germany.
Yeah.
Right. Now, Group B for me is the group of death. It has Spain, Italy, and Croatia.
It's a lot.
I'm scared of Croatia in any tournament.
Yeah.
They might not have, but they still have Brozovic, they have Luka Modric, and they have Kovacic. That midfield is one of the best in that tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I look at the Spanish team and Italian team, like, nah, you're just there. You're not that fantastic, right? But when you talk about Spain and Italy, these are the main people. These are the potential, the people that you say these are the most likely people to win. But their teams are not strong. So I might go for Germany also.
Yeah.
England, Southgate. With Southgate, I'll be shocked if they win anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've argued about what's their best lineup.
Yeah.
Southgate doesn't know. It's obvious with the team that he took. It's obvious already. So I'm going for Germany. I'll go with the host.
So, Yinka, Southgate is like, so people say I drive like somebody's grandmother, right? Because I'm not a fast driver, I'm a very cautious driver, whatnot. So Southgate taking charge of this England team is like giving me a Ferrari. Like, for what?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do with it? Like, obey traffic laws, with a Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? So it makes no sense. But this is a country I don't really care about. So, I hope they keep him for 10 more years and they win nothing. Good for them. I feel bad for Saka, I feel bad for Bellingham. I even feel bad for Kane. Kane has all the weight of the world on his shoulders. So does Mbappe, but Mbappe seems to have the full support of his country and seems to have the full support of his football infrastructure. And Kane is just gonna, it's just gonna lead them to failure again. It's really sad. The England can sort out who is a good defender and who is not. Now they're gonna put two guys in this, center back position who have played 3.5 games together ever. Bukayo Saka is the best defender they have. He's not in camp. Why? Because he's Nigerian. So this is a mess. Everyone thinks they're like a sure bet to make it to the semifinals, but you always said it. Tournament football doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that because you have the best talent doesn't mean you make it. Plus, they don't even have the best talent. France does, but they have a top three. They have a top 3 squad in terms of play.
I think they're in a tricky group also.
Yes, they are.
So there was Serbia and Denmark.
Yeah.
On a good day, those teams can surprise them. They can beat England. So I won't be shocked if
they'll make it. They'll make it out of the group. They'll make it out of the group.
Yeah.
They'll make it out of the group. Now, so for people who love Cole Palmer, I actually think Cole Palmer being on this team is going to be a net negative. So, again, unpopular opinion, he's not ready. This is international football. You know what I mean? Like, having a great future and having a decent, I would call it a decent year, unexpected, young, on a terrible team, does not mean you're ready to take on the troubles of the world. You know what I mean? Like, it does not mean that. Foden is still trying to figure out who he is in an England shirt, and he's like, what? He won all 3 Player of the Year awards. You know what I'm saying? Even Saka is still trying to figure out who he is. In a way, Kane still is too, because they don't have a leader that can tell them. They don't have a manager who's done it before that can tell them this is what success looks like.
That's the problem, Aki.
You
I look at that team and I think it's poorly constructed. It's not balanced. There are too many kids, right? And even the supposed experienced person. So, for example, in that midfield, the most experienced is Declan Rice.
What has he done? What has he done in an England shirt?
Exactly.
Nothing.
He's still a kid.
Yeah.
So, but when the time comes for somebody to say, guys, you know what? Do you understand? For a leader to step up and say, guys, let's steady the ship. Is it Kane that's going to do it?
Yeah, he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it for both of his last 2 clubs.
He's not been able to do
for any club.
forever. He's not done for anybody. Club, country, he hasn't.
Yeah.
So Kane is not the leader that you need, right?
No.
So I'm hoping. So I see this as a stepping stone for this young English team, right? That's what I see it as. So if they win it, I'll be surprised. If they don't get out, if they don't perform well, I won't be shocked.
So,
right?
Yinka,
Because
I don't know
I
who's
think they're
going to
lacking
win.
in some areas.
I don't know who's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you why England is not going to win. Their goalkeeper is terrible. I've said it many times. He foments chaos. You don't want a goalkeeper who is just jittery. You know what I mean? Who is indecisive. Who doesn't calm down your nerves. You know what I mean? You don't want that. And then you now put people in front of him. Their best right back is not a right back, so he's not going to play right back. Who is their left back? Gay?
No, they don't have a left back.
Good...
It's Trippier. Trippier that'll play left back.
Yeah, he's like 39 years old.
They don't have a natural left back. Meanwhile, there's a player at Crystal Palace, that black boy. What's his name? Michel, right?
Is it Tyreek something? I forget his name.
Something Michel. I can't remember. His name is
Tyreek Mitchell, I think. Tyreek Mitchell or something like that. Yeah. He's not in camp.
Why is he not on this team?
He's not in camp.
He's not even in camp.
So Trippier...
And they were waiting on Shaw, on Luke Shaw to be fit.
Bruh.
I'm like...
Trippier is a natural right back, no? Isn't he a natural right back? Not a left back.
There are 3 right backs. See, Akin, that's why I said this team is poorly constructed. They're carrying 3 strikers up front. They have Ivan Toney. They have, what's his name? The Villa boy.
Yeah. I know he's
Watkins.
And
they have
Ali
Kane.
Watkins, yeah.
You have 3 right backs. You have Trent, you have Trippier, and you have Walker.
Yeah.
And the only person that will play right back is Walker. So the team is poorly put together. Anyway, enough of Euros 2020.
You have a lot of talent. You have a lot of talent on the team, but you don't have anyone who is actually seasoned in the position they're going to play. With the exception of Kane, seasoned on the team. Kane, Saka, I think that's it. And Walker. I think. And the goalkeeper
is injured. I think Stone is injured. Yeah. I'm not sure if he'll still play. Even Declan Rice is not sure whether he's a 6 or an 8.
And he's not seasoned on that team.
Even Bellingham right now, they don't know where they will play Bellingham. They don't know where they will play Foden.
And he's not playing for Ancelotti. He will feel it. Anyway. He will feel that gravitational pull going from Ancelotti to what's his face. In the space of 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness!
They're both calm. They're both calm when they're on the sideline, and that's where the comparison ends between Ancelotti and Southgate.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, Yinka, we've talked too much about these people that I don't care about.
Let's move on.
So the Copa America is also happening. It starts on the 20th. We can talk more about it next week. But
maybe we skip. Let's skip Copa for time's sake.
But it is happening.
Skip Copa. We'll talk about Copa next week. Yep.
I'm going to flip this. We were supposed to do the NBA playoffs next, but I want to talk about the WNBA first to make sure we have enough time for the WNBA.
Let's do that. I agree.
Yinka?
I agree.
Ms. Caitlin Clark, podcast favorite, media darling. We both love her. We both love everything she stands for. Is it just me, or are they like 3 and what's their record now? Indiana Fever.
No, they have a very bad record.
Okay, sorry. I don't want to speak. It's not good. 3-9 as of today. They've won 3. They've lost 9. They're already 7 games behind first place in the Eastern Conference. It's not good. They're 1-4 at home. They're 2-5 on the road. We brought this up a couple episodes ago. I told you that Colin Cowherd was like, hey, why would they give her, 20, I think tough schedule, 11 games in the first 20 days. And then something else that I was thinking about, Yinka, you have the NBA draft, in like, what is it, April or whatever? No, that's NFL. Yeah. NBA draft in June?
It's in June or July.
It's June.
I think it's June ending.
June, and then they don't play until October.
Yeah.
In the WNBA, you have the WNBA draft, April 9th, and then the season starts a month later.
Less than.
It's tough
because you have your camp and the rest of it. So it's from the podium straight to camp.
And she had just finished an exhausting season. won the national championship, right?
No, she didn't win.
Sorry. Played in the national championship.
She played in it.
Lost to South Carolina. Played in the national championship. Played in the semifinals the year before. So she's had like 2 full years of just going.
Absolutely.
I think that's why she's struggling. And she's playing against bigger, stronger, better players. She'll get better. She'll put on some bulk. She needs to put on some bulk. I was thinking about Sabrina Ionescu. And I saw her. I watched. I think this season I've watched 3 Liberty games, and I think the last 2 I watched. The one thing I noticed about Sabrina is I'm like, more ball handling. She looks bigger. Her arms look, more muscular. So I'm like,
and she's pacing herself.
Yes, the days of just being a shooter are gone. She can't be that anymore.
She's pacing herself. It's the only person she has in mind is the aces. Right now, let Stewie, Brianna, and Jonquil, let them do their thing. Yeah, I am reserving my energy for the aces. Yeah, and I mean, you're right. That is maturity.
Yeah,
that is knowing what matters. It's not all this season games. Aces, we're meeting in the finals. I'm coming after you. That's what I says when I watch Enescu. But go ahead.
Yeah, no. The Connecticut Sun are like 9-1. I think. I think the only loss they had was to the Liberty. So the Liberty are like the real deal. So just thinking about Caitlin Clark, the Fever, back-to-back now, they've had the number 1 pick. It's not a very good team. She's going to have to get, unfortunately, twice as good, to help them. But I did see something yesterday. Their last game, I think they were at the Mystics, I think.
I think so, too.
Yeah, they were at the Mystics. And I think the Mystics moved the game to the Capital One Arena where the Wizards play. Let me check. They were at the Mystics, and that game did more numbers, not online, not but at the arena than game 1 of the NBA.
The Wizards game.
No, than game 1 of the NBA Finals. Game,
Wow.
Now I don't know about the capacity of the Boston Garden and all that, but they did not. The Mavs Celtics NBA Finals was 19,000 something. Mystics Fever was 20,000 something. So I thought that was something.
Wow.
Because the Mystics typically get 5,000 a game at their other home.
Yeah.
But they moved this game to the Wizards Arena, Capital One Arena, and they sold out.
Yeah. So couple of things. Okay. So a lot of things have happened with Caitlin, right? You saw Pat McAfee come on board and call her the B word.
Trying to support her, though. He was saying it in support.
Trying to support her, though. Yeah. And a lot of new people that are just getting into the W. You and I, we've been watching the W forever. Yeah. And when I hear people talk, I'm like, tell me you don't watch the W without telling me you don't watch the W.
Well said.
Yeah. Because I'm looking at Caitlin Clark. Y'all thought she was just going to come in and be dropping 30 every day? See, I just pulled up. Yeah. I pulled up, the stats.
Yeah.
Right now, in terms of scoring, she's number 13.
Yeah. Which is good. It's respectable in terms of scoring. For a rookie.
No. That's what I'm saying. So when she came in, I'm like, y'all must not have heard of Aja Wilson.
No.
Y'all don't know about the Gold Mamba. Y'all don't know about Arike Oguboali.
Yeah.
You don't know about Kalia Cooper. There are players in the W that Caitlin is not even near the level. Yeah, she's a good shooter and stuff. They're grown women playing in the W that will bust your behind if you're not serious.
Yeah.
So for you to think she's just gonna come in, they're gonna lay a red carpet for her. She's just gonna walk and sway.
Like a layup line to the basket.
Y'all, exactly. Y'all don't have an idea what the W is like. That's a competitive league, right? she was okay. It was a flagrant foul. I get. Kennedy Carter,
okay.
chip shot her.
Wait. You have to set that up. You have to set that up right for people who don't watch. What happened? This was a week ago. Tell everybody what happened.
So there was an initial play on the other side, right?
Who were they playing?
Kennedy Carter.
They were playing the Chicago Sky. Chicago Sky, yeah.
Chicago Sky and the Fever. Yeah. So Chicago Sky had Angel Reese.
She was on the bench.
They all followed the college.
Yeah,
she was on the bench. Yeah. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, they have a history.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the game, Caitlin Clark goes for a rebound with Kennedy Carter. Caitlin Clark elbowed Kennedy Carter. Now, hear me out. I'm not saying it's intentional. I don't know. But there was an elbow. So Kennedy Carter had it in for her. They go to the other side, right? Sky score. Yeah. Someone was going to inbound the ball to Caitlin
Aliyah
Clark.
Boston was going to inbound to Caitlin. Yeah. So the last two
and
number
Kennedy
one
Carter
picks.
just went the last two number one picks. Kennedy Carter goes into her and gives her, a body shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the whole world goes, oh, assault. They want to kill Caitlin. And I'm like, I remember Candace Parker's rookie season when there was a physical brawl.
Yeah.
Who had they playing? Was it the Lynx? I can't remember who Sparks were playing.
Yeah.
A physical brawl between Candace and a player. They went for the rebound and they were dragging the ball and it turned into a proper fight.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I don't remember it, but it came up. It came up after this Caitlin thing, and I saw it. I'm like, how did I miss this? Or maybe I just have bad
Angel
memory.
Reese.
Yeah.
Angel Reese, 2 games before this, played Alisa Thomas' team, the Connecticut Sun, right?
Yeah.
Connecticut?
Yeah, the Sun.
Yeah, Sun. She was clotheslined by Alisa. And she stood up and she moved on. Where was everybody? Where was, you want to kill Barbie doll? You want to...
Yeah.
There was nothing like that.
So,
it's just ridiculous.
Once every 4 episodes, I'll give you some brilliance. So get ready. This is my moment of brilliance. So get ready for this. So this is what I think. To be fair, this is not completely novel. But, I've heard people say versions of this already. So remember when I said lower the rims? Even though the WNBA players don't like, I know, you don't like it, they don't like it.
I don't like it.
I know, you don't like it, they don't like
go ahead.
it. But here's what I'm saying: why is the WNBA like this? In the NBA, there's more space. People are flying, they're dunking, they're taking logo threes. I saw something that the team that shot the most threes, both in the regular season and the postseason, was not the Golden State Warriors. It was the Boston Celtics. You don't look at them and go, "Oh, they shot the most threes." That's what the men's game is right now. There's a lot of just flying and dunking and alley hooping and all that, right? You don't have that in the women's game. So what do you have? They take space away from you, right? So it's like close mano a mano, hand to hand combat in the WNBA, right? It's fundamentally sound. Everybody is like a friggin' Tim Duncan, right? Because they all play the best players. Look, the WNBA is the roster size is so small, a roster position is so precious that they cut first round picks before you get to camp. You know what I mean? Yep. Because you can only carry 12.
It's 12 people.
And there's only 12 teams. 12. So it's 144 players.
44.
The NBA is 30 teams and you can carry 15. 12
15.
active, 3 inactive, and then you have people on two-way contracts that come in and out and all that. And there's way more money in the NBA. So you have first round picks that get cut. You have really good players who would never have a professional career unless they go to Europe. So this is a competitive league. They don't make a lot of money. These women got to fight for everything they get. So I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
And if you're coming in with a $28 million signature shoe deal and you think it's going to be a layup line, it's not, that's not going to happen. So anyway, there's not a lot of space.
Terms, you must not
know. There's not a lot of space in the WNBA game. It's really tight. They play really close and they're very physical and they throw elbows and the referees let them do that. because everything is on the ground. There's no jumping. There's no flying. They don't fly. They're not dunking. Everything is on the ground and there's no space. And that's what she's suffering from. There's just no space for her to operate.
But I think she'll be fine.
Oh, yeah, eventually.
She'll be fine.
Eventually.
Fast forward till today. Was it yesterday or this morning or on Friday? The roster for the Olympics got leaked.
She's not on it.
And there's another uproar. And I'm like, sorry, who in this list do you want her to bench?
Not only that.
There are people that are not on this list.
Not only that. When they had camp, she was playing in a tournament when they had camp. So she didn't go to camp. She didn't go to camp.
Let's even assume, you want to give, what do you call it? Wild card decision.
Yeah.
Who is she going to bench? There are some people that are meant to be on that list that are not on that list.
I would say maybe Diana Taurasi doesn't need to go to her 87th Olympics. This will be a 6th. I think she's been to 6 and this will be a 7th. Or she's been to 5 and this will be a 6th. So I'm like,
so in case of Diana, I can give you more people. Is Jackie Young on the list?
I think she's on there.
I can't remember.
So.
Jackie Young is.
I think she's on there. Okay. She's on there. Oh, she's my newly minted favorite player now, and I'm like, why was I not paying attention to this girl before? She is fantastic. She is amazing. She's amazing.
She's amazing.
Like I love this girl. It's unbelievable.
I used to. Jewel Lloyd was my. That girl.
Jackie Young.
God.
Offense, defense, spacing, timing, everything, rebounding, all of it.
But the fact that she's on the Aces also helps her.
Obviously. Everyone around her is intelligent. Their coach is intelligent. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway.
Wow.
So that's our WNBA update, Aki. I'm conscious of time.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's just touch base briefly on Roland Garros final. Then I'll do my donkey of the week and we'll call it quits. Yeah,
that works.
Fair enough.
I'll let you do the Roland Garros. Okay.
So the Roland Garros final, female and male, today. In the female, it was Paulini Swiatek. Swiatek won straight sets. It was an anticlimax. It would have been better if it was Sabalenka Swiatek or it was Coco Swiatek or Coco Sabalenka. Swiatek she's turning out to be, she's taking over the baton, because when Serena left, it was like, who's gonna? Now it seems as if she stepped up and said, "It's me." Yeah. The only person that gave her a tough time was Naomi Osaka, who was away for a while to have a baby. Now she's back. If Naomi continues like this, I think it's only Sabalenka, Naomi, Coco, and Swiatek that will be competing for stuff. Yeah. But Swiatek has a mental edge over the other two. Coco is not there yet from a mentality standpoint. Sabalenka, she's had some tough times. I really feel for her. She lost her ex-boyfriend, I think, committed suicide or so.
It was really sad.
And she's been playing through it, and she's been graceful. I feel for her. But Swiatek she's the top lady now in terms of female tennis. Yeah. On the male side, it was Alcaraz and Zverev. Djokovic got injured. Djokovic is 37 years old, and this is his first big injury that I can think of.
A couple weeks ago. Yeah,
exactly. Unlike my other friend, Mr. Rafa Nadal, who's just a year older than Djokovic, and he's probably been injured for like 5 years out of his career, if you get I mean.
Very true.
So I think this is also probably the beginning of the end for Djokovic, because Father Time will always catch up with you. These younger boys are getting faster. They're getting better.
Taller,
he's
bigger,
getting slower.
Stronger. Yeah.
Exactly. Have you seen Jack Sinner?
That's
how tall that guy is?
Ridiculous.
Oh, have you seen his serve?
Yeah.
And this Alcaraz guy is the right-handed Nadal.
Yeah.
From a mentality standpoint, is not where Nadal.
From a skill standpoint at 21.
From a skill standpoint,
better than Nadal was at 21.
God,
yeah.
It's better than Nadal. His drop shots, God. No, Nadal couldn't drop anything. Nadal will always, is that his backhand and his forehand, the spin, top spin, overpowering people. And I think that contributed to his shortened career from an injury standpoint.
Yeah.
So the next tournament is the Wimbledon. So moving from clay to grass is always a problem. Nadal already said he's not going to play grass. He's probably not going to do Wimbledon because of the Olympics. And the Olympics is going to be at Roland Garros. It's going to be clay, and he said he wants to play the Olympics. But yeah, I think tennis is in good hands. I was worried initially after Serena and the big four. That's Federer. Well, big three: Federer, Roger,
and Djokovic.
Federer, Djokovic, and Nadal. Yeah. I was going to add the British guy, but I can leave him out.
What's his name? Andy. Top three. Well, he had some injuries. He had some injuries. He was kind of a late bloomer, then had some injuries. Yeah.
Then had some injuries. But yeah, tennis is in good hands. And we'll see how it goes. Okay.
May I just real quick?
Go ahead.
All right. So I was texting with my brother earlier, and he said something I didn't realize. He hadn't realized it either. Alcaraz at 21, youngest male to get to Grand Slam finals on 3 different surfaces. I didn't know that. Also, the youngest male to win Grand Slams on 3 different surfaces at 21. So I thought that was crazy. His semifinal. After that semifinal, I am shocked that he also went the distance again in the finals. Really amazing. But I thought the turning point was the 1-2 break from Zverev, because I thought Zverev would have had the momentum potentially. Who knows? Because it was like a nothing error that led to that break, and then he just piled on error. It was just too much, and then closed in a little bit at 2-3. Alcaraz, tightened things up, went up 4-2, and then that was pretty much the end of it. So, but I also didn't know. It was my brother-in-law that mentioned that Zverev is a type 1 diabetic. I didn't know that until today.
I didn't know that.
That's amazing. Uses insulin on court and all that. So just for me, tennis is just when we were growing up, we used to say like boxing was like the ultimate sport because it's just you. So while in tennis, you're not getting punched in the face. I think tennis has a lot of similarities to boxing because it's just you, man. Out there, it's just you.
It's just you.
So this.
And I don't think there is a sport that requires mental alertness as high as tennis.
It's amazing
because see, the mental focus for you to go down, to move from love 40 to go 40-40. God. Sometimes I'm scared for the players when I'm watching. I'm like, you're on serve and you're down love 40. And you see some people that love 40 will be championship points. And they will still win that game.
Yeah.
I'm like, if that is the height of mental alertness, that is the height of mentality in itself. It's not just physical, it's
absolutely. I had I still have a very unhealthy love for Roger Federer. I think it's probably in my top 3 of sportsmen to ever live. At his height, I used to struggle to watch him. There were many Grand Slams that I would have to watch, after, because I missed so many things because I was just like in nuts the whole time watching it, And I'm like, if I feel that way, I don't know how he feels. It's crazy.
I'm telling you.
One more thing.
It's crazy. Anyway.
Everything you said about Iga Swiatek, absolutely. She has the physique. She's tall. She has the mentality. She's liked on tour. She's not an asshole. Coco won the doubles, by the way, so I'm very happy for her. She won the doubles today.
She did.
I love the fact that she's still playing doubles. I hope she continues to do it. Coco is only 20, right? I would say Swiatek won her first tournament win ever was the French, which is amazing. Like when the Grand Slam is your first tournament win ever. I believe this year was a 23rd win or 22nd win overall. Is it 3 in a row now for her? And 3 out of 4, maybe 3 in a row. I can't remember. You have to check me, Inka. And 4 French Opens, and it's You've said it all.
She's dominating.
She's dominating.
She's dominating.
She's dominating.
She's dominating.
Can Naomi come back? I guess we'll see.
But she's on the right track. She gave Swiatek a run for her money in that round. Was it round 1 or round 2?
Second round.
It was set match point, 3 match points that Swiatek saved.
Yeah.
3 in that game. Anyway.
All right. Let's do it.
So let me just quickly wrap off this session by the donkey of the week. I don't need to say much. You all know who it is. It's either it's between City and their lawyers, and City is it City or their lawyers, or City and their lawyers, or lawyers. Whoever is suing.
Oh my gosh.
Whoever thought wise to sue the EPL. You're the donkey of the week, man. There's nothing else I can do. There's nothing else I can do. It was gonna be Southgate, but I was like, nah. Southgate isn't as, I don't want to say stupid, but you get my point. This is it is the height of ridiculousness. So, City as its football club, you're my donkey of the week.
Wow.
Akin.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, they're my donkey of the week. Right. Miss me with that. We're victims. We're being discriminated. Come on.
No, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's funny. Unbelievable.
Anyway, guys, that's our session for the week. It's nice to, I don't want to say nice to be back, but you get what I mean.
It is good to be back. It was better to be in person.
It's good to be back. It was better. Yeah, it was actually. So please, guys, as usual, we like the engagement. Please continue to subscribe to our channel, like our content, share our content, tell your friends about us. Next week will be our 20th episode.
Yes, this was episode 19, so next week will be 20th.
This was episode 19. So I think we've been talking about giveaway, and I think we're going to do something, but we'll announce it at the 20th episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
And good. Final words from you, Aki?
All good. Thank you, Inka. Thank you, everyone. This was fun, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.